Hello and welcome to our fabulous listeners. I'm your host, Moira Geary, and this is your Positivity Project. For those of you that don't know me, I'm an author and speaker, and I have a personal development company. And I specialise in teaching people who are stressed, overwhelmed, procrastinating, and are driven by fear how to live more enriched, courageous, and calmer lives.
Talk to me, Moira, about setting goals. How can we get it right?
This is a bit of a pet subject with me now, Bibi, because look, and I'm not going to criticize the way other people do things, etc., because it probably works for them. However, I will talk about my experience in working with people in relation to setting goals, and over the years, I've sort of formulated my own idea around it. And maybe it's the type of people I work with, I don't know, but it seems to work really well for them. Because logically, for me, and that's the way I like to create these processes for people, I like to see a logical progression. So there is a kind of a trend where people talk about, setting these big, hairy, massive, huge goals, and there's all sorts of acronyms on them. And particularly in the coaching world, there often can be that sort of a drive or whatever. And I just noticed that a lot of the people I work with, when they set goals that big, often it sets them up for failure. And that's the first thing. The goal is actually too big. They haven't achieved something that big in the past. It's too far from where they're at, and they don't have a belief system strong enough to believe they can do that.
So, in setting these big goals, are you saying that we have to alter our belief system first of all?
It can be very beneficial if we do alter our belief system in relation to the goal, if it's a goal that you've never achieved before, or if you feel, oh, this is kind of a bit of a stretch. And also, particularly if somebody has a belief system where maybe they feel they're not good enough, or they're not capable, or somebody might have said something to them in the past where they might have said, well, who are you to think that you can? So definitely it can be very beneficial. However, I don't think it's the most important thing in the starting of setting goals. I think what's much more important is that we look, first of all, before we even look near a goal, is that we look at what I call possibilities. So the only reason why any of us want to achieve a goal is because of how we think the achievement of the goal is going to allow us to feel. That's the only reason. It's not the goal. It's actually when that goal is achieved, we have a subconscious belief that there's going to be a feeling that goes with it.
A positive feeling?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Well, some might be negative, but I only like to work with the people that would be looking at positive. But you're right, it could be negative, because sometimes people will do kind of sabotaging things for secondary gain, but that's a whole other subject.
It is.
So when we look at possibilities, what I would ask somebody to do is to check in first and ask themselves, well, how do you want to feel? That's the very first question. So how I want to feel freedom, I want to feel elated, I want to feel joy, I want to feel bliss, I want to feel happiness, I want to feel peace of mind, I want whatever it is. So you get a sense of that and get really tuned into what that feeling is. And then after that, then you ask yourself to go into complete dream world on possibilities. So what could be possible for me? What have other people done in the past? Because I have really got the same resources. In other words, I'm capable of being motivated. I'm capable of doing X, Y, and Z. I'm capable of taking action. I'm capable of looking stuff up. I'm capable of being educated. So there are so many options there for me. So just go into dream world for
And
a while.
a lot of people are not conscious that they have those qualities at all.
Yeah.
And I think that would be such a positive exercise
Yeah.
to actually write them down.
Absolutely.
And would you at all, in any situation, go into the negative? Like, for example, I know I'm never going to be a catwalk model.
Okay.
You're meant to laugh. It's okay. I'm fine about
Maybe
it.
we can work on that, Phoebe.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So should we also write down the things that we know we're not going to achieve?
Absolutely. In relation, I'm not going to say that we should necessarily write them down or not. That would be a very personal thing. At the same time, when I work with people on goals, they usually are looking to actually focus on a particular feeling. So what we would be looking at, rather than, there isn't any harm in looking at some things that you decide you don't want to achieve or that you might never achieve. But I really would like to keep people focused in an exercise on what they actually want to feel.
Yeah.
So it's feeling first, then they go into possibilities. So what's possible? Not saying they're going to do it, it's just what's possible. Then from possibilities, that allows people to actually think of stuff, like you just said, things that they just haven't even consciously thought, I'm capable of that. Oh my God, I have that resource. Maybe I could do that. So from there then, because you know what you want to feel, and you've got a much more open mind around what's possible, that's when you set a goal. So the goal then, so when you look at those, you go and you say, okay, well, what goal could I achieve that would allow me to fulfill these feelings and the situation over here? And that to me is called an aligned goal. Whereas what I often see people do is they'll jump in and they'll say, okay, I'm going to achieve that goal. And then when I ask them deeply, why are you looking at that goal? They'll say to me, well, actually, my friend or my cousin or my mother or brother achieved that goal and they are now richer, or they're now this, or they're now that, or the other. But that's not necessarily what this person wants to feel. They actually don't go into or realize that the reason why they want to achieve the goal is actually to create a feeling. So if they achieve that goal, they mightn't have the same feeling that the other person has. So it's important we keep our goals very individual to ourselves.
So the whole business of my mother achieved that or my cousin
Yeah.
achieved that, it's really peer pressure, isn't it?
It often can be.
Yeah. That's not good at all.
And people think or feel that comparison is a big thing as well. So through comparison, we often can have a sense of, when I achieve that, I will feel good enough, or when I achieve that, I'll be as good as somebody else. Now, if you come back and work in yourself around your self-esteem, it's much easier to deal with it that way, and then find a goal that's going to make you happy, rather than when you achieve a goal for comparison reasons, all you've done there is said, well, yeah, I was able to achieve the same as that person, but I still have that belief system inside that I'm not good enough.
Might not suit you at all.
So there goes the next thing. You say, okay, well, I need to find another goal now to really prove it to myself.
Dear me.
So it's just down
a bottomless pit.
Slippery slope, or bottomless pit, exactly. So the other way, I find with clients, it has been just phenomenal to watch people, because what happens at the end is they're happy, because that's really what they're looking to feel anyway.
That's the whole goal of everything in life, is it not?